This is a final record of my life, made in what I believe to be my last moments. My name is Jillian, former commander of the 34th Raider Band. If this message reaches our home systems, I implore you to listen. Our people have heard tales of my exploits for solar cycles, our raids on undefended worlds, our dominance over trade lanes. This portion will likely be censored, but I must speak. We operated under the silent and at times explicit sanction of the governing council. Our targets were chosen. Occasionally, we struck beyond their scope. Who cared? They were insignificant. Forgive me. The smoke is reaching this chamber. Time is short. We attacked the Terran home world because it was vulnerable. Their species appeared weak. Who has ever heard of an intelligent civilization that willingly sacrifices its mature, productive adults for its young? They could simply create more, and they seemed to enjoy the process. When they first reached the stars and met our enemies, they likely didn't realize that an offer to join a trade alliance was a prelude to invasion. But once they did, easy prey, correct? No grand armadas. No sprawling defensive networks. They had only begun theoretical work on stellar energy harvesting. Easy. So we struck, hit a few population centers, obliterated some minor installations. We celebrated a grand piratical victory, as is tradition, and we moved within their grasp, our first critical error. We captured settlements without initial struggle. Then, during a resource-gathering operation, one of my soldiers grew irritated by the cry of an infant Terran. They emit a piercing, distressing sound. So he shot it. The child was in the arms of what we now understand was its mother. No significant loss, we assumed. They can always produce another. We were incorrect. The female lost all rationality and attacked. She was struck by energy fire 16 times. Yet she used the soldier's own weapon to beat him to death. That is when we discovered the second alarming truth. Humans are storytellers. They document everything. The recording of our officer executing an infant in its mother's embrace and her subsequent final act ignited a wildfire of violence. It cost me 4 full companies in a single rotation. Then, one of my foolish lieutenants decided that since they cherished their young, we should threaten more children to force their surrender. A catastrophic mistake. He demonstrated that we were infant-murdering monsters, and when humanity determines something is a threat to its progeny, it will pursue that threat's utter annihilation with relentless, absolute fury. You must comprehend, it is not merely my raiding band. They have adjudicated our entire species a danger to their young. The last signals we intercepted show the Keelan Confederation agreeing to provide them advanced weaponry and technology to formally end the conflict. Communications from their home world indicate the entire planet is unified by a singular, burning hatred for us. Steal their possessions? They become annoyed. Kill an adult? They grieve, but harm their young, and they wage a war of extinction. I attempted negotiation. I offered trade. I issued warnings. All it achieved was to solidify their resolve. Whatever you do, do not target their children. You will condemn us all. We believed it made them weak. We were profoundly wrong. That was a final dispatch from the most formidable pirate commander in 500 cycles. In the time since, human forces have eradicated 4 major military bases and executed suicide runs that crippled entire battle groups across 14 galactic sectors. The war, for all intent, is lost. I therefore recommend we extend favorable peace terms to the Keelan Confederation, including a mandate to cease supplying humans. Furthermore, in the post-war period, I propose a galactic union outlaw the use of human mercenaries and make targeting human young a universal war crime. Perhaps this news will make them see we are not all like the late pirate lord. Will it be enough? The question echoed across the Confederation. On Earth, from the Americas to Eurasia, the story was the same. A pirate executing a child for crying. The question everywhere was, how long until we respond? The Keelan ships were tracked on the global network. The first data packets on interstellar travel had been disseminated to every Earth government. Each session of the nascent United Earth Assembly began the same way. The sound of a crying babe, a weapon's discharge, a mother's scream. Only then would debate commence. This recording played in new orbital docks, in United boot camps, in factories building armored walkers. Daily reports on their preparations were sent to the Keelan, and with them, the same haunting question: how much longer? This question began to unsettle the Confederation itself. Their cultural exchange data, stories, songs, histories, arrived alongside the military updates. Their horror narratives are concerning. The chiefs and knowledges remarked days before the first Keelan transports were to arrive. Not the alien invasion scenarios? A politician asked, emitting a huffing sound akin to laughter. Those as well, but not for the reason you think. The issue is that every invader, every cinematic monster, is implausibly powerful. Immortal ghosts, beings with physics-defying technology. Why is that concerning? Because those are the only entities in existence they consider a legitimate threat. It must be a god, a demon, or an impossible alien. Anything less, they do not find it logical to fear. If it cannot shatter a planet, it is not a true problem. Have you seen what they did to the pirate Lord Admiral? They tore him apart. I have never observed a species so insanely protective of its young. A human father dragged one of the raiders to death behind a primitive motorized vehicle and handed our ambassador only shredded flesh. They are convinced our enemies wish to murder their children. We may be inviting catastrophe. 3 standard months later. Let the humans take the forward assault, the Keelan Admiral declared. The request was approved. The Keelan-provided starships were piloted by humans, but not as intended. The Admiral watched dismayed as fighters skipped across the planetary atmosphere like stones and broadcast an unencrypted transmission. Does anyone have a translation for yippee-ki-yay? The Admiral asked. No one did. Contradicting all doctrine, the human-piloted crafts descended at suicidal velocities. Put the planetary surface on screen, the Admiral ordered. The view showed transport bays opening and human soldiers leaping out. Are those machines? He muttered. Then, the second broadcast hit the battlefield speakers. The wail of an infant, the crack of a pirate's weapon, a mother's scream. It was unencrypted, meant for all to hear. It seemed to catalyze the human forces into a frenzy. Their heavy mechanized walkers, equipped with projectile cannons the size of a body, showed no interest in capturing positions. Shoulder-mounted rocket pods launched dozens of micromissiles at any structure in their path. The enemy, the Pankin Alliance, fought to live. The humans fought only to kill, indifferent to their own survival. Light infantry followed on rocket sleds, spraying metallic chaff to disrupt laser-based defenses. This isn't warfare, the Admiral stammered. This is vengeance. Are they deranged? That brought uneasy laughter. They are not wholly irrational. If we make it a universal war crime to harm their young and hand over any violators to their justice, they may see the value in peace. Will that truly satisfy them? We believe so. A vote was taken. Ambassador Nobunaga, to what do I owe this pleasure? The human diplomat, from an Earth region called Japan, gave a polite bow on the view screen. I bring news. The Pankin have offered to surrender. We wish to invite you to negotiate the terms. The human's expressive face became blank. Are there conditions? Unconditional? No, but... Then we are not finished with them. Ambassador, we can negotiate. You may negotiate. We will not. When they offer unconditional surrender, we will dictate terms. They raided our homes. They murdered our children. Terran policy is to never bargain with aggressors. Their surrender to you is meaningless to us. The transmission ended. 2 months later, the Pankin Empire, reduced to its core systems, grew desperate. They understood the Confederation, but not its newest member. We are offering terms of surrender. Tell us when you offer unconditional surrender, was a perpetual, clipped human reply. 3 core worlds were glassed. Cities vaporized. Lane's mind with self-replicating devices. Energy grids annihilated. World after world teetered on the brink of collapse. Still, they fought on, believing the humans would eventually offer terms. The humans offered only glass and fire. Within 4 more months, the Confederation begged its allies to stop. Only 3 Pankin worlds remain intact, including their home world. Ambassador Nobunaga went to the Confederation capital. The The Pankin ambassador appeared. His scales cracked from stress. If we surrender unconditionally, what will you do? I will tell you what we will not do, Nobunaga stated. We will not enslave you. We will not outlaw your beliefs. We will not occupy your surviving worlds. We will not slaughter your remnants. You may keep your governing body. It was a list of mercies never before shown. The assembly murmured with relief. Then we surrender, unconditionally. Please stop. Then we have peace. Here are the terms. The Pankin are prohibited from space travel for 100 standard years. Your remaining worlds will be converted to agrarian economies only. Those worlds will be open to immigration from all Confederation members, with first choice of territory going Terrans for the first 5 years. Furthermore, the Pankin will pay a war indemnity of 20 trillion credits to our veterans and the families of the slain children. The Pankin ambassadors seemed to turn to stone. The terms meant the effective end of the Pankin as a power. The best lands will become human, their economy broken, their people prisoners. We submit. Now we are done with them, Nobunaga said, turning to the Confederation. Now perhaps we can all enjoy peace. On Earth, cheers erupted. Over the next 5 years, Pankin society on the ravaged world collapsed. Devoid of infrastructure and knowledge, they fell into scavenging and internecine violence. Human settlers arrived, terraforming the most ideal regions to their preferences. The broken Pankin survivors either begged or fled, too shattered to fight. The races of the Confederation requested to send observers to ensure they are not brutalized in victory's aftermath. Grand Presider Jackson of Earth considered the request. Of course, observe for a few months as our colonies establish. We expect most survivors will request relocation to their home system. They will not be content living under us. The transmission from the Keelan arrived next. Grand Presider, your colonization rate, it is astonishing. You have established 20 outposts on 20 different worlds in months. Can your home world sustain such mass immigration? Do not concern yourself, Great Speaker. Earth has experience with large migrations. Our current solutions are quite effective. Your species invests heavily in few young over a long period. This should make expansion harder, not easier. Our children become capable early. We have adopted 2 strategies. Our facilities use cloning from extensive genetic archives. Parental units raise initial clones, and the population grows exponentially from there. Within 10 years, a viable colony. Within 40, self-sufficient. Within 100, he let the implication hang. The Keelan leader's nictitating membranes fluttered rapidly. Aren't you concerned about genetic complications? The risk is low. Mandatory DNA testing prevents issues. Within a few generations, natural genetic drift will make it a non-factor. The call ended. The Keelan speaker sat in his chamber, stunned. In 20 years, functional colonies. In 40, exporters. In a century, an empire potentially larger than the entire Confederation. He looked at a physical book on his table. A gift from the Terrans. An epic tale about a woman who built and burned empires for love and vengeance. Was it a warning? Or just a gift? He had to explain this to the others. Years later, Grand Presider James Stoneworth Jackson shook hands with his successor, the former war hero Madison Maxwell. Cheers echoed across Earth and 40 colony worlds. My service began when humanity faced an existential threat. It is not my accomplishment, but humanity's that we prevailed. Those who slew our children are now traders of crops. Their empire is ash. Ours stands in its place. I pass leadership to a worthy successor. The burly Maxwell gripped the podium. I fought the Pankin before, during, and after the war. Now, with your faith, I will guide us through a new struggle. We are no longer one world, but one people across many. Great challenges await. We showed our bravery in war. Now we must show our honor in peace. Light years away, the avian Golian High Lord Avon watched the transition with amusement. It seems bizarre to replace a competent leader, but their media suggested it is routine. It appears to work for them. They discard failed ideas and embrace successful ones with terrifying speed. They've settled 40 worlds. 200,000 colonists raising 5 clones each. Then another round, exponential growth. In 50 years, all former Pankin worlds will be occupied. Pankin space will be surrounded. What does that mean for us? It means a vast new market, and piracy has nearly vanished, suggesting the Pankin were indeed sponsoring it. I propose we move our fleets to the Galactic East, where the massives are threat. It shows faith in our human allies. High Lord Avon later opened a direct channel to Presider Maxwell. It's a dangerous universe. You defeated the Pankin, but do not forget we fought with you. Your race expands rapidly. Be proud but cautious. There are other, older empires. Do not provoke them. You say this because I am a soldier, Maxwell replied, open-handed. We do not put warriors in charge in peacetime. It suggests your species prizes war. High Lord, how much have you studied our history? It is a history of war, with peace being the interval between conflicts. The Pankin taught us the universe is merely a larger version of our own world. Preparing for war is as natural as breathing, but humanity desires peace. In peace, our children are safe. In peace, we prosper. But if peace requires strength, we will be strong. High Lord Avon ended the call, horrified. They are active predators. Their intelligence was forged in near extinction. What have we welcomed into our midst? He summoned his foremost xenobiologist. Explain them. The old scholar was excited. Roughly 200,000 of their years ago, a climate shift nearly wiped out their ancestors. A genetic bottleneck. The survivors were already social omnivorous, persistence predators. They could literally walk prey to death. Under extreme selection pressure, intelligence and creativity were dramatically favored. They invest heavily in cooperative tribal structures and their young. To deal with them, make them part of flock. Treat them and their children as flock mates. They will reciprocate. So we hire their mercenaries, send them to the galactic east border, create policies to aid any Terran ship in distress, make them feel like treasured allies. Precisely, or we risk being seen as another Pankin. The insectoid Zalian queen, perceiving the galaxy through a swarm, observed the new Terran ascendancy with curiosity. As humans settled former Pankin worlds, her scout ships were politely warned away. She noted with displeasure as Golian and Keelan patrols began mixing with human fleets, bringing them within 3 jumps of Zalian space. She contacted the human colonial governor. You took another system. We desired it. You will take no more systems that bring you near Zalian space. I take orders from my presider, not you. All former Pankin territory is ours to claim. You will take no more. I will not. However, I can agree to a 6-month moratorium on settlement in the border systems, pending a formal treaty. Will you also land no ships there? Yes. Then inform your queen to arrange a meeting. For months later, Zalian colony ships landed on the disputed border worlds, exterminating the last Pankin survivors there for biomass. The transmission played in the Confederation Hall. The matter is resolved. No conference is needed. Outrage erupted. Yet, Presider Maxwell was silent. When the noise subsided, he spoke, his voice like stone. We have a saying, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. The Zalia have shown us. Killing the last Pankin was unnecessary, a pointless act of extermination. They lied about desiring peace. They have shown their true face, and we will remember it. His response was unexpectedly mild. But over the next year, the human border world saw a surge of new clones and immigrants. Massive star bases and shipyards were constructed. The human fleets grew. Zalia exterminated the Pankin. What would they do to us? Became the unspoken driver. The Zalian queen felt the pressure as trade routes around her space were blockaded by a new coalition. She reached out. We wish to negotiate trade and passage. The reply from every border state was similar, brokered by the Terrans. Human military aid would be guaranteed if all travel and trade with Zalia ceased. Bottled up, the queen contacted Maxwell. We will take the world where you have a station. It is ours. We are colonizing it. We will pay for it. We are not selling. We will remove your biomass. We do not wish it removed. Our worlds are too few. We need space. Our galaxy needs trust. You destroyed that trust. Nobody believes you won't turn populations into biomass. You did this to yourselves. You did this. You turned our neighbors against us. I only told the truth. The bitterness is yours to swallow. What can you do about it? Or rather, what can you do about it? He let the double meaning hang. You have things that belong to us. Return them. Agree to confine your warships. Let your transports travel under escort on set routes. Then perhaps trust can be rebuilt. You try to provoke a war. I prefer to win without fighting. War is a stupid, destructive waste. This isn't a provocation. It's a warning. We built this coalition because there are only two options: peace or war. We became adept at diplomacy because we terrified ourselves with war. We fight with peace now. Come to terms or attack. I am choosing peace. The whole quadrant knows it. You can too. The queen was silent, calculating. You are devils. 3 months later, to the Confederation's disbelief, the Zalian queen announced, "We express regret for the misunderstanding over the occupied worlds and will withdraw. We desire peace." Swift negotiations followed, brokered by Maxwell. The Zalia gained restricted travel rights to resource-poor worlds. The first formal treaty of common defense for the Galactic West was signed. By the abandoned gods, they did it. High Lord Avon said. They provoked a peace. For 12 years, unprecedented peace reigned. Maxwell became the first non-Keelan speaker of the entire Confederation. Then, the first true challenge arrived. The Massives. The Massives were a silicon-based species, evolved from volcanic rock. They consumed minerals and were running out of viable worlds. They had begun exterminating lesser species to use their worlds as ranches for metallic-rich livestock. Their fleets of hollowed-out asteroid ships were nearly impregnable. They were now on the Golian border. Maxwell, advised by former Presider Jackson, listened to the briefings. They understand that biological life contains metals. They want to clear worlds for farming. So if we confront them with a united quadrant, if they have any other option, perhaps. Diplomacy is the art of saying nice doggy while looking for a rock, Maxwell mused. He broadcast an open message to Quadrant and to the Massives. War is terrible. Even if you are hard to kill, you pay a price. If you withdraw your fleet 6 jumps from the border, I will veto any declaration of war. We will not strike first. However, if the Golians are struck, I will propose a common war by the entire quadrant. No one will make a separate peace. Withdraw, and I will propose a large-scale relief effort. We will help you find the resources you need. Take the chance for peace. Because we already have many rocks ready to throw if you choose war. The Zalian Queen, remembering the lesson of unity, transmitted her support. The Broken Pankin offered volunteers. The Golian border worlds trembled. On the massive home world, mountain-voiced Nereus grumbled at the transmission. Little hairless things. They think we should fear that? We have never known defeat. Destroy a few worlds, harvest them, then offer peace. The coalition will crumble. Sir, we should consider their offer. When the fleet is assembled, attack. Hoping for a quick, decisive victory to break the coalition's will, the massive fleets moved. 6 Golian border worlds were scoured of major cities. An independent frozen world was burned. The Zalian border saw fierce fighting. The vote in the Confederation was unanimous, a quadrant-wide declaration of war. On Earth, the old recording played in training facilities and shipyards. The slogan spread, "Between our children and the desolation of the void." Maxwell, taking personal command of a unified fleet from the flagship Perry, whispered as they sailed into battle, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." The massive admiral watched as Golian and Keelan ships engaged a screening force. As predicted, an ambush. His rotating asteroid ships weathered the fire. Then, from a gas cloud, the human fleet emerged. Awful, triumphant music blared over open channels. "Open the ports," Maxwell ordered. Tens of thousands of small drones, guided by gamers on Earth via quantum link, swarmed out. They targeted weapon ports and thrusters, firing hypervelocity micro-rounds. Behind them, specialized human ships fired carbon fiber cables that dug into the asteroids. Their powerful engines fired, using the massive ships as rams against each other. "Ready to roost," Maxwell said. "What are those?" the Zalian Queen asked over secure channel. "Watch." Human Star Marines in powered armor rocketed across the void on tethers, landing on the asteroid hulls. They carried plasma chainsaws, cutting through rock and silicate flesh to board the ships. On the massive flagship, the Admiral heard screams over comms. "Intruders! They're inside." The view screen showed squads of humans howling as they cut down the towering massives. "Order retreat. All compromised ships self-destruct." It was too late. The swarm had been swarmed. Maxwell broadcast to the quadrant. "We have a saying, talk softly and carry a big stick." We just gave them the stick. The pursuit was merciless. Maxwell's next transmission was to the massive homeworld itself. "You thought you could win because we stood apart. You were wrong. Together, we are strong. Therefore, I propose a change, a true stellar hegemony, a united federated government for all peaceful peoples, and for those who will not live in peace." On screen, a captured massive asteroid ship, its thrusters firing, was shown on a collision course with a massive world. That asteroid is 8 miles wide. One much smaller caused a mass extinction on my world. You armed us with these weapons. We're giving them back. We will return ships until you submit unconditionally, or there are no more of you left to surrender. The quadrant watched in stunned silence as the asteroid impacted, the screen flaring white. "We will forge unity. May any god preserve those who stand in our way, because together we will win." The roar of approval across 1,000 worlds was deafening. Decades passed. The Galactic Hegemony was a reality. On a grand space station at the edge of the explored megaquadrant, Grand Presider Albert Anderson dined with ambassadors, including a massive speaker. "What surprised humans most about the other species?" he asked. "How little you all value your young. We are a K-type species, high investment, slow reproduction. You are all our type or hive-minded. For us, a child who dies loses a universal potential. That curiosity is what unites us here today, and it leads us into danger." He gestured to the observation window, pointing into the deep void where the old massive ships had vanished centuries before. "That is why the station is here. To monitor, to warn. We tried to cross that void for ages. Nothing returns," the massive speaker said. "We managed to recover one of your ships, the XG-2-4601, a prison vessel, 600 years gone. It was fossilized, encased in millennia of space dust, as if time itself had accelerated around it. Either a natural phenomenon unlike any we know, or someone out there is manipulating time. We've called you here because you have colonies on the outskirts. We will decide how to proceed." The project began, generation ships, dice, and spheres, to build a conduit to the time-warped void. The doubters asked, "What if what's on the other side is hostile?" The answer was a compromise, an automated fleet for first contact. Fleet Admiral ISC of the Exon Hegemony reviewed the report on the insignificant bipedal colony his salvo had erased 2 years prior. Their last transmission, "You done it up," still puzzled his linguists. He gave it no more thought until his view screen activated, showing his Emperor. "You destroyed the Homo sapiens colony." "I did." They have responded. The view changed. The stable wormhole near the dead colony irised open. Through it poured an armada of white warships, each dwarfing his flagship. A human admiral appeared. "This is Admiral Tyrius of the Terran Amalgam. Due to your unprovoked aggression, the protected status of your empire is forfeit. Stand down and surrender, or we will liberate your tribute states by force." A map appeared, showing the Exon Hegemony in red, a proud empire. Then it zoomed out and out and out, revealing the Terran Amalgam in blue, an ocean of stars that utterly engulfed the red speck. "Make your choice." ISCN's antennae trembled. The colony's final words echoed in his mind. They were not a request. They were a prophecy. If you were gripped by humanity's journey from victim to galactic architect, show your support. Smash that like button and subscribe to Winds of Thought for more tales where the underdog becomes the apex predator of the cosmos. We'll see you in the next story.